there's some guys that have entered the portal that Memphis has been affiliated with. They're showing interest in. And so I wanted to get your guys' opinion on if you would, how deeply you would look into them, if they would fit what they've already got in place with PJ and Dane and Jared Harris. So let's walk through these real quick. There's a couple of guys that they are pursuing. One of them is from University of North Texas, Aaron Scott. I think he's a 6'7" guard.
Great defender.
Great defender, shoots the ball at an incredibly high rate. What are y'all's thoughts on Aaron Scott?
I would love
Big
him
fan.
as an addition.
Big fan.
Huge fan. Great defensive player.
Long,
athletic as hell. 37% from three. I think as a value piece, as a fit piece, perfect.
Who does he remind you of?
Perfect. Huh?
He reminds me a little bit of TFA.
The shooting's better.
Yeah, the shooting's better, but just defensively,
Yes.
size-wise, fit-wise.
Yes.
And we talked about this the past few weeks. I know I keep
We would
bringing
have
it
loved
up.
to have him.
Yeah,
We'd have loved to have
we
you,
loved
man.
that fit. It felt like a great match. It felt like the perfect puzzle piece. And Aaron Scott has a little bit of that. He's a solid scorer. He's a good defender. He can block shots. He can get steals. He can create in transition. I think overall, fit-wise, it's a great fit.
And Kadir Copeland is the
Yes.
next one you wanted us to discuss,
Syracuse.
right, Katie? From Syracuse. 6'6", big guard.
yeah,
Big guard.
Yeah, big guard.
And he's a really interesting player.
He's pretty versatile.
Yeah, defense, not quite the defender of
No,
Aaron
but
Scott, but he's
offensively, he's
definitely
versatile.
got something. But offensively, like he is 6'6", but he can handle relatively well, and he can facilitate. There's a game toward the end of the year where he had 9 assists at
Yeah.
6'6". Not like the greatest shooter in the world, but a decent offensive player. I think that would be fine. He's a huge guard. He's got 2 or 3 years of eligibility, Kenny, if I'm not
He's a
mistaken.
sophomore.
He's a sophomore. So
Yeah.
He's a sophomore.
Yeah, so 2 years left. I mean, I would like that addition as well. Both those guys, good wings, good small ball lineups you can run with those guys, and sort of positionless type
Yeah.
deal where they do a lot of things really well.
And neither one of them is going to command a ridiculous amount of touches in a game. Kenny.
Which leads us to the next guy that they're showing interest in. A guy who Penny Hardaway actively recruited last year in the portal, ended up going to Arkansas. Khalif Battle, who will be a grad transfer, is back in the transfer portal this year. 6'5", 175 guard, just a ball-dominant player.
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts? What do you think about Khalif Battle?
Okay, let's just run through this real quick.
Yeah.
Let's say you had David Jones and P.J. Haggerty right in the starting lineup.
Yeah, I don't know how that
Khalif
works.
Battle would have to be a bench scorer.
Yeah.
He'd have to be strictly with a bench.
Yeah,
and I don't know if he'd do that. And also, we'll talk about it in a second, but Cal headed to Arkansas. I don't know if I wonder if he'll try to
Get
stay
back.
around.
Yeah, I mean, this is someone that we talked about last year coming out of Temple that we all were like, okay, if they can get that, go get him
Yeah.
for sure.
Based on the way last year went and the style of player he is and what they already have,
Right.
and PJ Haggerty, like all hands on deck. Sure, if you get him, you get him.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think he's someone that you would turn. I definitely
You don't turn him down.
Don't turn him down. If he wants to come to Memphis, you allow him to come to Memphis. But then it becomes the question of: are there too many mouths to feed? Are there enough touches to go around?
Because what I said about PJ Haggerty being first, now you go find support players.
Yeah.
Is he a support player?
Yeah, can he do that?
But
He's
not
never.
really. He's not a support player.
but
He's just,
let me say
he's
this.
Good player, not a support player.
PJ is also not your ball dominant, needs high amount of shots to be effective to play the lead guard. Like he's a guy who actively looks to get guys involved.
That's true.
On his team. And so what is the one thing that the Tigers need to surround a guy like PJ Haggerty with?
Shooting.
And that's shooting. And Khalif Battle is a shooter, man.
Yeah.
He's a shooter.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I definitely
I don't hate it, but I again.
But it kind of does feel like going and grabbing all the shiny pieces that you can
Again,
grab.
if this was last year, I'd be like, oh my
yeah.
gosh, oh yeah. But now
There's more
I
pause.
just have a different mindset based on the amount of talent and what it equals.
And
this
he only
year.
has 1 year.
Yes, I mean, if you get him, you get him.
Yeah.
I don't think it needs to be like a.
The number
we
one.
have to
Yeah.
get him
'Cause I think
we're not going to be.
They've got that
a good
already.
team next
Yes,
year.
I think
They've got their guy.
I think there are other players that fit better, but he's not someone you turn down. Kenny, you got one more.
I got
for us.
more. This is a
Dude,
weird
this
one,
is so
though.
wild. I kind of like it.
I do too. I have to say it.
Former Memphis Tiger, former Creighton Blue Jay, Jonathan Lawson.
Didn't play many minutes at either place.
No.
I like Jonathan, though. I wish he would have stayed around last year. I'm going to be completely honest with you.
I felt that way too because I think he really had some of those moments where you were like, he's got the length, he can handle the ball, he can shoot, he can pass the ball,
And
but it's just never really materialized. So my one big pause is depending on who comes back and what you have. You know, if you've only got 6 to 7 spots, whatever, I don't know if he's really someone that you want to pursue as a scholarship player when you have so many holes
I'll say this.
to fill.
If it's a, hey, I thought it was going to be a greener pasture when I went to Creighton. I didn't get the minutes. You actually did right by me now looking back at it. I want to stay here. I want to be a Memphis Tiger.
Yeah.
If that's sort of the conversation, I feel good about it because then he could stay for 3 more years.
2 more years.
Right? But
And what do we know he's good at? Spot up shooting.
Shooting.
I mean, spot up shooting, and he's probably the most athletic Lawson.
Oh, by far.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
like
Definitely.
he can run the floor.
Yeah.
And I think he's got a little bit of upside defensively that you could probably unlock. You just got to get him in the right place at the right time. It's about the IQ, and I think he's probably getting there after 3 years now in college basketball. But I would like it. I would not mind it in the slightest.
I don't hate it because it goes back to what we're talking about of role players.
Yeah.
And guys that he's obviously not someone that's coming in commanding a ton of touches or expecting 25 minutes a game or anything like that. And I think he does have the upside, like we're talking about, passing, shooting, length, versatility, position flexibility. Like he has those things. It's just you're kind of betting on, can it happen? Like, can he hit that next level? Because it just hasn't fully materialized for him yet. So you're kind of betting on potential, and you're taking a flyer, and it just becomes a question of, do you want proven production, or do you want someone that could potentially be productive?
And don't fool yourself if it's not in the back of your mind that he was here and transferred already.
Right.
I think you're lying to yourself.
Right.
So that's another part of it. That do you trust him to have a different mindset this time around coming into Memphis and stay?
Yeah. Especially if he doesn't get a ton of minutes.
I'm very interested to know. You look at those 4 guys that we talked about in terms of who they're pursuing and who they're interested in. Do you know what the one position that's missing in those 4 is? Another big. Is somebody else is a big?
They need a big.
They've got to go get more bigs. Has to happen, right?
Dane, you can't go in next year with Dane being your only big.
Right.
Man.
Dane and Nick at the 4 and 5.
Yeah, you're gonna have to find another 5. You just have to.
Yeah. No, it has to happen. You would imagine that would become.
You're gonna have to find 2 more bigs, really.
Yeah,
I think so too.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would 100% agree with that.
Just man, there's what 1,350 names there.
Hey, there's a name.
There's somebody
There's
there.
somebody there.
By the end of this whole thing, I'd bet they'd have 2 more bigs, and I'd bet they'd have some more wings to go with it. Just
they got
It'll-
plenty of
we'll just
roster
take our
spots
time.
available.
And there is just way too many. There's more players than spots that are available. So I would imagine there is somewhere for some of these guys to go, and that could be Memphis. And
Well, there's a name that's floating out there center wise that I'll share with you off air that y'all might be interested in.
okay. Well, does it have anything to do with Kentucky?
No,
That would be really cool, though.
not yet.
The Aaron Bradshaw one.
I mean, that literally happened last night.
That'd be
so.
really cool.
That'd be really cool.
That'd be pretty awesome if he could shake that one, 7'1" and sprinting
Yeah,
rim
up and
to
down the
rim.
floor.
That would be a good one. He was the number 1 ranked center last year.
Yeah.
But I'm not throwing anything into the air because he probably will end somewhere else.
Wishful
That's just how that
thinking.
works.
And let's not forget, it is only the beginning of April, so there's still plenty of time left.